In 1992, a Japanese billionaire was found killed in his lavish mansion near Mount Fuji, with over 100 wounds inflicted by a blade, presumably a katana. This man had made his wealth riding the Japanese real estate bubble of the 70s and 80s, and was rumored to have connections with the Japanese Mafia, also known as the Yakuza. He was also known to be a flamboyant gambler, winning and losing tens of millions of dollars. He even had interactions with Donald Trump, who at the time was operating casinos in Atlantic City. Trump called him the greatest gambler ever, as one of his casinos was nearly bankrupted in a high-stakes face-off against this man. His name was Akio Kashiwagi, and this is his story. Akio Kashiwagi was born in 1937 in a town in the Yamanashi prefecture of Japan, near Mount Fuji. When Kashiwagi was in his mid-20s, him and his family members would begin investing in real estate, buying up land in Yamanashi, which was cheap because there was pretty much nothing there other than Mount Fuji. Within just a few years, Kashiwagi would make a fortune, as it was decided that a highway leading to Mount Fuji would be constructed right on top of the land Kashiwagi had purchased. It was rumored Kashiwagi had connections with the Japanese Mafia, the Yakuza, and they had tipped him off on where the highway would be constructed. It is unclear if this rumor is true, but either way he was able to sell his land to the state at a handsome premium. Using the money he made from this investment, he would begin buying up land in more prospective areas like Tokyo. Kashiwagi was always known to use strong-arm tactics to obtain real estate. For example, if someone refused to sell a property he wanted, Kashiwagi would contact his friends in the Yakuza and have them send some intimidating-looking men to harass the owner until they agreed to sell the land. He was also known to prioritize money over anything else, such as when he purchased the rights to a preschool and then bulldozed the building to construct a gambling parlor, which would generate more money. The acquisition of land through intimidation and ruthless pursuit of profit, combined with the Japanese real estate bubble of the 70s and 80s, made Kashiwagi a very rich man. He was known as the landlord of Yamanashi, and his wealth was estimated to be over $1 billion. It was around this time Kashiwagi was introduced to the world of high-stakes gambling, a game called baccarat to be specific. I won't go into the details, but baccarat is a game played with cards. There is no skill involved. It is pretty much a coin flip, with a slight edge to the casino. Players like baccarat because the edge the casino has is smaller compared to other popular casino games like roulette. And casinos like baccarat because it tends to attract high rollers. In other words, gamblers willing to bet large sums of money. Kashiwagi got his first taste of baccarat in Korea, and he was hooked almost immediately. Because there are no casinos in Japan, he would travel to overseas casinos at least once a month, betting hundreds of thousands of dollars on a single hand. He would leave Japan with several million in cash, and sometimes come back with double the amount, sometimes with nothing. It was in 1990 when Kashiwagi went to a casino in northern Australia, where he would have a legendary run of good luck, and won just shy of $30 million over the span of a few days, equivalent to something around $60 million in today's money. For the remainder of this video, I will be stating the amounts of money as adjusted for value in 2022, so you can get a better sense of scale for the stakes that were at play. This monumental win in Australia made him an instant celebrity in the world of casinos and gambling. Top-tier casinos from around the world would invite Kashiwagi to play at their venues. At this point you may be asking, why would casinos want to invite a guy who just took $60 million from another casino? As I mentioned earlier, baccarat is a game of luck, and the way the game is set up gives the casino a slight edge. Kashiwagi might have gotten lucky and won big, but the odds are always in the casino's favor. So having him play will earn the casino money more often than not. Also, it is always good publicity to have a high-profile gambler play at your casino. One casino owner who had his eyes on Kashiwagi was none other than Donald Trump. While Trump was in Tokyo for the Mike Tyson and James Douglas match, he had a brief interaction with Kashiwagi and invited him to Trump's casino in Atlantic City. Kashiwagi accepted and flew on Trump's private jet to the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. There he was treated like royalty, got to stay in the penthouse suite, with a personal chef, all free of charge. After enjoying the city for a couple days, Kashiwagi appeared on the gambling floor, and the game would begin. The game was of course baccarat. The rate? $500,000 a hand. Within the first dozen hands or so, Trump was immediately down a few million. He would later write in a book, "At that moment I realized for the first time I had become a gambler. This had nothing to do with logic or reason. I was merely sitting on the sidelines, watching as one of the best gamblers in the world played against me for $500,000 per hand." When a local magazine came to document the action, Trump would try his best to spin it into positive PR for the casino. "Have you ever seen action like this? This guy is great. The best in the world. The best." But no matter how Donald Trump tried to make light of the situation, by the time Kashiwagi was on his way back to Japan, he had taken $12 million of Trump's money with him. Almost immediately, Trump demanded a rematch, which Kashiwagi accepted. 3 months later, in May of 1990, Kashiwagi returns to Atlantic City. The game would again be baccarat. The stakes would still be $500,000 per hand. But there would be one additional rule imposed by Donald Trump. Kashiwagi would put up $25 million and would keep playing until he doubled the money or lost it all. This rule was put in place by Donald Trump to ensure Kashiwagi plays for an extended period of time. As I mentioned earlier, all casino games are rigged in the casino's favor. A player might win some money in the short term if he hits a streak of good luck. But over the long run, players will always lose, as described in this scene from the movie Casino.
So, he upped his bets. Until he dropped his winnings back and gave up $1 million of his own cash. In the casino, the cardinal rule is to keep them playing and keep them coming back. The longer they play, the more they lose. In the end, we get it all.
Coming back to our story, the rematch between Trump and Kashiwagi began with the Japanese man taking the early lead. Kashiwagi was up close to $20 million on his first day. He had so many chips he had to pile them on the ground. Donald Trump was visibly shaken and considered calling it off right there, but other casino executives convinced him to keep the game going. This turned out to be a good decision for Trump. As the game went on over the next several days, Kashiwagi's luck began to run out. And by the end of day 6, it was now Donald Trump that was ahead $20 million. The account of what happened at this point differs between the two parties. Donald Trump claims he suggested the game to stop at this point, and Kashiwagi agreed. However, Kashiwagi himself claims that Donald Trump forced the game to be cut off at this point, without any consultation. In either case, Kashiwagi was sent home, $20 million poorer than when he had arrived. This baccarat session became something of legend within the gambling community. Remember the clip of the movie Casino I displayed earlier? This Asian man is actually modeled after Kashiwagi. This is where the story takes a strange and somewhat dark turn. Kashiwagi had been playing at Trump's casino on credit. In other words, he didn't pay the money he lost on the spot. He would be held liable in the form of debt, to be paid later. However, when Trump tried to cash the check from Kashiwagi, the check bounced, indicating there was no money in the account the money was to be drawn from. Around this time in the early 1990s, the Japanese real estate bubble had burst, and the price of land, stocks, pretty much any kind of investment asset was in freefall. There were rumors going around that Kashiwagi was in serious financial trouble. Kashiwagi pretty much went into hiding over the next couple years, until in 1992, he was found slashed and stabbed to death in his lavish mansion near Mount Fuji. Some say his Yakuza friends, from whom he presumably borrowed money off of, had turned against him. Others say he was killed by someone he had extorted land off of many years ago. A month after his death, a Yakuza member was arrested on suspicions of murdering Kashiwagi, but the charges were later dropped due to insufficient evidence. It was rumored at the time that the Yakuza boss had cut some kind of deal with the police to bail out his underling, but the true story is unknown to this day. As of 2022, no culprit has been caught for the murder of Kashiwagi. It is also unclear if Donald Trump was ever able to collect the money he won in the legendary game of baccarat. Trump would later claim, "He was a great player who loved big numbers. He made me a lot of money when money was very tight and the economy was crashing." However, if you consider Kashiwagi won 12 million in his first game, and never paid the majority of the 20 million he lost in his second game, Trump would have ended up losing money after all. We will probably never know the truth behind Kashiwagi's death. What do you think of Kashiwagi and his life? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching until the end. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. I'll see you next time.